Hello and welcome to this video about the fall foliage being foiled, because it's been foiled this year. We are not getting fall foliage this year. This image was not taken this year. This image was taken on November 2nd, 2013. And we are now going to look actually at literally the same day of the year, the 2nd of November, which was yesterday. And it was near 70 degrees, and this is going to be at a similar spot in the Mill Lake, Twin Lakes area of Wantagh, and you will see the difference in the foliage. And it is incredible that we are literally being gypped or robbed of fall foliage this year due to the weather pattern we are in. Now let me tell you, this weather pattern sucks. So you're going to look later at the foliage, the way it looks in Twin Ponds. But first, we're going to go and look at some other areas to show you the changes. And then at the end of this video, you will see what is usually an amazing place in the fall is just so dull and so dreary and so depressing. And this is something we can expect more of due to climate change. Anyway, let's get started at looking at some examples of how our fall foliage season has been foiled this year. Okay, in this segment, we are going to look at the fall foliage differences between 2 years ago and this past year. At one place, this place will be Winding River County, Winding River Park in Toms River. All right, this is one of the best places to look for fall foliage. This picture was not taken this year. This picture was taken in 2015. Right, so you can see there's a lot of color there. Note the date here in the picture, October 23rd. Ooh, excuse me, a lot of that going on because it's been way too warm. Okay, so here we go. There's two images here of Winding River Park. This was taken this year. Now note the date, it's October 27th, 2017, and it's later, and this was taken this year, and you can see that the colors are much weaker. Now let's again go back to 2 years ago, and that's 2 years ago. So you see the colors are definitely more intense, alright, but at least there was some color at this particular spot at Winding River, alright. Some of the other areas, the difference was a little more dramatic. Okay, here is another comparison. This was taken this year. This is at Winding River Park near Route 37. And you can see the colors are very dull. Again, this was taken on October 27th, 2017. Now let's go back 2 years ago and look at how much better the colors are. So you can see the difference here. Look at how much more brilliant the colors are 2 years ago, and this was taken October 23rd. So this is because the weather got cold and the leaves changed. But when the weather never gets cold, we have this, and the leaves just kind of go brown and just fall off, and that's what's going on. Okay, so now we're going to look at last year at Winding River Park, and I want to show you a comparison. I'm just going to show you all the pictures from last year. And then I'm going to follow it up with pictures this year. They were both taken with very similar cameras with similar color output. So it's not the camera, it's the climate. Alright, so this was again taken at Winding River Park. And you can see, just look at those brilliant colors that we had last year. It was absolutely beautiful last year. We just had stunning colors throughout the park. And it was just, I look forward to this every year. Looking at these colors here, you know, I mean, there are different color settings I use in these pictures, but just look at these beautiful fall foliage colors from last year at Winding River. And look at these colors. I mean, they're just spectacular. And this was from last autumn, and the colors came late last year because it was warm, but they did come. This was taken on October 31st. This was taken on Halloween, and we had absolutely brilliant colors here at Winding River Park. Here, absolutely spectacular. All right, and now after you look at these pictures from the lake that I took, this is what it's supposed to look like pretty much, all right? This is what the fall foliage is supposed to look like, all right? Yeah, especially this image. Keep this image in your head, all right? Because the next image you're going to see is what it looked like when I was there last week. Okay, so this is what it looked like last week, and you can see there's no color. There's no color. It's October 27th, so maybe you know, a little less than a year to the day, but you can see that hardly any of the trees have changed. You mostly see green, and I'm going to just take you back now through the the pictures here, and you can see that the colors were much less. And this again is this year. All right, so the colors are much less. Again, similar camera, similar color effects, much less color from the leaves this year. All right, there was some, but not a lot. At least there was some, though, which is better than none. Remember this spot right here? There was a lot of color back in the other year. Now there's hardly anything. So you pretty much get the idea of how it's affecting the foliage in New Jersey, and sadly this is affecting the foliage all across the tri-state area. Okay, let's look at another place on Long Island that has excellent foliage, and that's Belmont Lake State Park. This picture was taken on October 30th of this year, 2017. You see the colors are pretty dull. Now let me show you what it's supposed to look like. Let's go back to 2015, October 26th, almost 2 years to the day. All right, and this is what it's supposed to look like. You can see there's a lot more foliage on the trees, and there's a lot more color from the foliage on the trees. But when you go and you look at the one from this year, you can see a lot of the leaves are already gone, and the ones that are still on the tree hasn't changed. And this is because of two factors here. It's been too warm, so the leaves never got a chance. They never got the cues to change. And two, we had that horrible tropical storm. I'm going to call that thing a tropical storm that we had, and it blew a lot of the leaves off. All right? So those are the two reasons why we're having very crappy colors. So let me show you what it's supposed to look like at Belmont. We're going to go back 2 years ago again and show you how beautiful this place is. This is what it's supposed to look like at Belmont Lake, and the colors here are known to be an excellent. I mean, just look at these colors. I mean, this is what you're supposed to see at Belmont Lake State Park. This is what you're supposed to see. That sweet gum there, beautiful fall foliage, just beautiful. This is what it's supposed to look like. But sadly, this year we haven't seen any of this. This year, it looks like this, and there's hardly any color at all in the park whatsoever. And this is the same area, the exact same area, and hardly any color along the lake. Most of the leaves are off the trees. The ones that are still on haven't changed. They're just turning brown and falling off the trees. So the sweet gums, the swamp maples, the colors are much duller this year, and it's a shame because I look forward to this every single year, and not getting the foliage is a real disappointment. And this is part of what happens with climate change, is that we see less fall foliage, and it's really unfortunate what's happening. And there's one last place we want to look at, and I also took a video there as well, and that would be Mill Lake in Wantagh. We're here at Mill Lake on the Wantagh-Belmore border. And usually this is a place where there is lots and lots of fall foliage at this time of the year. It's actually a little earlier, but as you can see, there's still a lot of leaves on the trees, and most of them are brown. And this is what the warmest October on record is doing to our foliage season. Sadly, it does not seem like we're going to have one, which is quite unfortunate. I look forward to it every year, but at least along the wetlands, we are not getting much in the way of color. Here, this is what we're getting. Normally, these trees would be bursting with color. They're not.
And did I mention it's in the low 70s, even here on the South Shore? Yep. So, yeah, the colors this year are very lacking. So if you're into that sort of thing, I'm afraid you're going to have to wait till next fall. Hopefully next fall, the atmosphere will try to get its act together. It's a little color here, a little bit, from the sweet gums. These are sweet gum trees here. It's a little color over there along the parkway, but the trees just don't want to change all the way. It's like they're trying to, but they just can't change all the way. It's not getting cold enough. And every time it tries to get cold, it gets warm again, like today. Alright, we're just following the path around the lake here, and yeah, this is the little stream that runs through here. But not much color. So a lot of these trees just haven't even changed yet. Some of them are starting to change. I don't know, but for those who love the fall foliage, it's a real bummer. And I happen to love the fall foliage, so normally you'd definitely be seeing some color over here, and I'm not seeing anything. Water levels are still a little high from all that rain we had, but not much color here. And normally there'd be some color over here, but these are the swamp maples here. They've all the leaves are already gone, and they usually are by this time of the year. But the problem was, by the time they started changing, we had that windstorm, and it blew all the leaves off. So we never really got any chances for foliage. Normally this would be a great spot for foliage. This year, nothing. Yes, it's a shame because normally this lake has got a lot of color in it. Unfortunately, the lake is not the cleanest lake, and we got these plants that are growing, and these are invasive, those plants that grow in there. For some reason, they only work on removing them from Massapequa's lakes and nowhere else. Because Massapequa, whatever Massapequa wants, Massapequa gets. Even more than wants or Belmore. So, well, if you look over there, there's some color over there, down there. Not too much, though. See, nope, there's no color here. Nothing. See, this is exactly what's going on with these swamp maples. They're just kind of getting brownish. Usually they turn yellow, orange, and red. This one's going from green. It's trying to change, but the problem is, I said the trees are not getting the cues from the weather to change properly, to change in the colors they're supposed to change to, because it's been too warm. A little look at the lake here. Yeah, normally there'd be lots of color here, but so not this year. It's disappointing because you look forward to the fall every year and you don't get any color, and it kind of stinks. There's parks right along Merrick Road. This is what global warming's doing. It's taking away our fall foliage, so it's funny how the news media is not talking about it, but that's not to be surprised, because one thing our president is right about: our news is fake news. He's 110% right about that. Even if he hasn't kept a lot of his promises, he's definitely right about that. There's the heavy flow from all the water, the rain, that's still going. But we definitely are seeing some major changes in our climate. And the news is paid off by big oil, the Koch brothers, Monsanto, not to report on what's really going on in our environment. And that's why the news is fake news. Oh, not to mention the Clintons and the Soroses, they're also paying off the news media too for other stuff, but that's a whole another thing. But I guess we're just going to have to wait for next year to see color along this lake.